I'ma do to you. Don't you ever do that again, you hear me?
Yo, how's it going, guys? Tribal Links here, welcome back. So, we finally got this Leech dialed in. We figured out the setup that he likes and put it through its paces, and so I pulled out this clip here. Got a pretty good run in here with the Leech. So go ahead and check this out. We'll come back at the end, and I'll just kind of give you a little idea of my thoughts now after playing with this thing for about a month, and just how I feel about it, and stuff like that. So enjoy this clip, and we'll talk to you soon. So that was a good run. Managed to hold down that center beacon for most of the match there. Now, obviously, the players I was matched in with there were lower in level, but still kind of gives you a good idea of how this bot works, how powerful it can be, and especially with this setup we got going on here. This is pretty much the best thing you can possibly do in my estimation with this robot. It gives you the flexibility to play support or to brawl, based on the situation. So now we got that out of the way. I want to kind of talk about this a little bit because I said right off the bat when this thing first hit the live server here that this was way too powerful. And it's going to cause some balance issues, and it seems like it's proven itself to be true because I've had this thing for about a month now, and in that time I watched my average damage per map jump by 300,000 to 400,000, like right off the bat. And so there was that. There's also the fact that I have climbed the ladder. I've gone up almost 3 leagues now in just a month, and these are top leagues. These aren't like bottom leagues. These are the top leagues. I pretty much walked all the way through Masters League, just based on the fact that I put this bot and this setup into my hangar. So there's that, and I'm seeing that there's quite a bit of balance issues with it. Now I recognize that they have a tendency to put these things into the game. They'll wait a little bit, and then they will eventually get around to nerfing it. And I expect that to happen here in the next couple of months. Maybe the next update will come with a minor nerf, and then they'll go from there. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do that. Are they going to trim the duration, which I feel to be pretty good, or are they going to trim the damage deflection, or maybe they might rework the damage deflection altogether. I have this crazy idea about how that could work. So we'll see what happens there. Now, in terms of how I feel the damage deflection could work, I mean, I recognize that this is supposed to be some sort of a hack, and so the system of the target of the host is recognizing damage that's not necessarily incoming. Now, okay, that's cool. That's cool, but physical damage is different than energy damage, let's say. And so, what if it was that energy damage was deflected? Because that is a signal that would be picked up by the system, as opposed to physical damage, which is just that. It's physical damage, and you can't really, I can't burn myself and then have you feel it. You know what I mean? But let's say someone tried to hypnotize me and I hacked you instead. That kind of makes a little more sense. So maybe energy weapons could see that deflection where physical damage might still be taken, and maybe damage reduction still has effect on that. But I kind of feel like things like lockdown, things like suppression, things like damage over time could be things that are deflected, and that might make the balance a little better. It'd be kind of like having an anti-control on your bot with that 90% damage reduction. I could see that balancing a lot better. But that's just my own personal opinion. Based on a little bit of thought, but I didn't really get into that line of thought too much. So there might be some flaws in that way of thinking as well. But it's just an idea as to another way that this could happen, where the bot still maintains its ability, but without the feeling like it's too powerful. Now, damage deflection in itself is a very powerful thing on this bot, and so there was a match here where you know, I just kept trying to ride it. Now oftentimes when my bot is heavily damaged and I'm missing weapons and my leg, you know, my legs are damaged or whatever, or slowed down, things like this, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll try and, you know, make one solid push, do as much damage as I can in that clip, and then allow myself to die. But with this here Leech setup, you know, like, I almost didn't want to do that, so I tried to ride it out as long as I could, and so I managed to actually, you know, carry this one single weapon, and you know, you'll see just how much damage, like, I'm not even firing, and you know, this Carnage is taking crazy amounts of damage. So you know, that in itself, you know, shows just how powerful this thing can be. And so we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how it goes as time goes on. But this is definitely a must-have in your hangar right now. At this point, it's probably the most powerful thing in the hangar. And this is still at only level 8. And you know, this is still with level 8 to 10 weapons. You know what I mean? And so it just goes from there. That's about it for now. We'll keep bringing you more here. We'll keep you up to date with how we're doing. Won't be long now before we do hit Champions League, and we'll be making some minor changes as to how we operate here, and I'll keep you posted on that as time goes on. But for now, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing up. This is Tribal Links. We're signing off.